From Here to Hell and Back Again by George P. Fanala. I'd like to introduce you to George, who's going to tell the story in his own words. Welcome back, George.
Thank you, Jennifer. And, I think it's time to drill more deeply into the implications of this sad story. And if my father could speak from the grave after all that he's been through and all the men that were made slaves at Farview Hospital for the criminally insane, I think this is what they would say to me, that you are going forward as a nation after this virus shutdown. And here's how you do it. And here's a plan to rebuild your nation moving forward in the truest sense. The USA has to get back to the basics that built this great nation. An understanding of world history and what this unique nation is about and its place in that world history. And all of its traditions, intact family structures, integrity, loyalty, humility, can-do attitude, courage, a strong work ethic, a sense of purpose and vision must take front and center stage. We must take pride in everything we do and have a commitment to encourage and practice enlightened capitalism as opposed to mindless greed and unenlightened capitalism above all else. Unenlightened capitalism has put us in a place that was terrible in the past, and we must correct this. We must put in place the right political and business, world incentives, and an economic system and an ethical electoral process free of graft, cheating, and corruption, which encourages the best and brightest of our legal citizens to rise to the top and seek public office. A respect for our leaders, supporting them as much as possible, not constantly denigrating them like is being done to President Trump by the networks currently. The specific proposals I believe my father would say was you must control your borders of USA. They must be secure. We must have strong immigration laws, and they must be strictly enforced, not only for medical but for security reasons. This includes an excellent wall along the southern border with Mexico to help stop the ongoing invasion of the United States. This wall must be well maintained and well manned and designed in such a way as to deter illegal attempts to climb or tunnel under it. No more catch and release and practices and so on. Violators must be held accountable so as to deter any future attempts. Check with countries like Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic, just to name a few, who have demonstrated that this can be done, and they have accomplished it and cut their illegal invasion to near zero. 2, an illegal invaders residing in the USA must be identified and given notice that they have 30 days to leave the USA. And if Americans are serious about this subject, they have to address this, and these people have to come into the USA the right way, make their payments to the legal citizens through restitution for what they have done by exploiting our school system, our medical system, and every other aspect of our country. I have an average of about 15 Americans a day are killed in one way or another by illegal aliens. This must stop. This is an atrocity beyond description. So no more free stuff, no more reduced tuition. It must be made crystal clear that if anyone enters the United States legally, they have nothing coming. This includes DACA or any of the other fancy Dan labels that they put on things. And also, if the Americans are serious about combating the virus, the pandemic, they have to secure the border. Because you can't have, as we do currently, even under Trump now, 30 to 50,000 people a month pouring into this country, unvetted, medically unchecked, psychologically unchecked, criminally unchecked, and so on, just walking into this country and having their way with it and getting benefits. The very high divorce rate of the USA must be drastically reduced if we are to survive as a first world nation. American men and fathers must be restored to their historic roles as providers, protectors, and teachers. And that's a very important one, teachers and leaders within their families and their community. For a nation to be composed of a free, loyal, strong, hardworking people, men and fathers must be brought up, incentivized, educated, and rewarded for being strong, confident, enlightened, well-educated leaders of their families and hence their nation. The out-of-control feminist movement has done a real job on this, and this must be reversed. They promoted this war between the sexes, and this has been very destructive and created millions of fatherless children and much suffering. And all these abortions, we killed over 60 million of our babies, and now the Democrats are trying to bring in 60 million illegal aliens, replace them as future workers, and of course, future Democratic voters. This kind of nonsense must stop. This is unenlightened capitalism at its worst. George Gilder wrote an excellent book called Sexual Suicide and a follow-up book, Men and Marriage, that address this problem brilliantly. And these books should be required reading in all the schools of the USA and the universities as well, and most especially by anyone in politics, public office, government, military, business, Hollywood, and the mass media. These books talk about the time-honored historical male-female sexual constitution that is vital to building a civilized society and maintaining a healthy governmental system. Close examination of one of the root causes of America's most compelling problem has been the unfolding on the last 60 years of blatant violation of the sexual constitution. So this is a huge problem. Solving this problem is so important. It has to be right at the top of our priority. Now, I've worked in the public school system as a teacher, and the public school system, the American university system, must be overhauled and reformed. It must be cleansed of political correctness and feminist dogma and doctrine. It becomes little more than left-wing propaganda gulags, emphasizing feminist doctrine, political correctness, more than even the subjects at hand. And this has caused the males increasingly to abandon the system and to be failures within that system, and to end up in places like institutions and Farview Hospital for the criminally insane. There are very few masculine teachers left in these institutional gulags and schools because they've been cleansed and pushed out by feminist doctrine. And the boys do very poorly and have no real interest in listening to a steady stream of never-ending diatribe put-downs of their race and gender. The teachers, faithful to their prescribed teaching plans and left-leaning curriculum, paint a dark picture of America as a nation built on the back of slaves and founded by a bunch of corrupt white males who did nothing of real value except whip slaves into doing the hard work. There is nothing in these gulag curriculums that would interest, affirm, or motivate a normal, healthy American male. In fact, it is quite the opposite. This is the main reason why so many American males do so poorly in these so-called schools and universities, while the females succeed because their agenda is being promoted. Also, the technical revolution in entertainment, communications, game playing has to be seriously addressed at this time, as this is so-called progress has brought with it some real problems. Traditional family values have gone by the wayside, and kids are obsessed with these cell phones, smartphones, video revolution, television, sporting events, and most especially the pervasive use of computers everywhere in the schools. And it has alienated them from each other and from their families, and estrangement from each other, especially from their parents and family members in general, is a big, big problem. The decline in social skills and increasing lack of conscience and consideration for others are just a few come quickly to mind. And this is very, very much contributes to unenlightened capitalism. When you have zombies like this who are voting and running for office, you're going to get unenlightened capitalism. You know, these people are so addicted to these devices, and anyone willing to question the wisdom and abuse of this technology risks one's health and very welfare as a parent, friend, or teacher. They even dare to try to rein in this rampant and excessive use of technology. It is becoming clear that a solution to this problem must be found, and soon, or there is a real danger of our society disintegrating into nothing more than a collection of millions of mindless robots willing to slavishly follow the commands of a fearless leader, much like in the novel 1984. It is perhaps ironic that the recent virus-caused lockdown and subsequent estrangement may have contributed to the problem, as many folks have become even more dependent upon things like Zoom and texting and so on to try and keep in touch with each other, as we can't go to the bars or sporting events or movies or concerts. One cannot even date a girl or get within 6 feet of her to go dancing or to go dinner, as it is forbidden by the fearless leader to do this. There was a movie called The Day That the Earth Stood Still, where an alien cut off all the electricity for a period of time to get the attention of the people of the Earth and put the Earth back, people back effectively to 1800s. He definitely got their attention with this move. Well, will we need to do something that drastic to solve this problem? Question. Or is there a kinder, gentler way to rein in the excessive use of smartphones and technology in general? Because it is a double-edged sword. If there is severe depression, that may have a big impact upon the abuse of technology, as fewer and fewer people will be able to afford anything more than the basics of life. So this is a big problem. It has to be addressed. Capitalism must reform itself to survive. I'm convinced of that. Unenlightened capitalism is causing big problems such as out of control corruption and greed has occurred in the Farview Hospital for the criminally insane. This will reach a point where the poor and the enslaved will be forced to rebel, and social order may break down. America has had many examples of enlightened capitalists who have produced, built, and done amazing things, in their later years become benefactors to millions as well. Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, and even President Trump come to mind, just a few. These men made lots of money providing a product or a service at a reasonable price, and then in their latter years gave most of their fortune away, or built libraries, or contributed in one way or another. President Trump being a good example. He doesn't have to do what he's doing or take the abuse that he and his family, the threats. He could have lived a life of luxury with a good family and never suffered at all, no matter what happens. But he chose to throw his hat in the ring and take on the huge task of trying to create an enlightened capitalist system, which is what we need. We need to get these mega banks, Hollywood insurance companies, mass media, the military industrial complex, and many more have these huge powerful entities that need to do some soul searching, serious soul searching, and much internal and self-generating reform, and cleaning out their excessively greedy and corrupt ways. We must place morality above money. We used to do that in this country more so. Now, we don't do it. Now, there are some other things that I also want to address. The EMP problem. Everybody knows about the vulnerability of our grid system. This problem must be addressed. We have to address the abortion tragedy. We have killed literally over 60 million of our own citizens, and our Democrats trying to replace them with 60 million illegal aliens. We must address the China problem, where most of our products, vital products, being made overseas in Korea or China. This is not the way you build a strong, independent, enlightened, capitalist nation. We must seriously start to address what is commonly known as the UFO phenomena, because there is enough evidence out there that this needs a serious investigation. It's not a joke. Well, I've covered a lot of territory, but I hope my father is smiling down on me, because I think this is what he would say if he were alive today, knowing the what little I know about the kind of man he was. So I, as his son, carrying on the Fanala name with pride and dignity and intelligence, hope that this message resonates with the people of the United States of America. And that is my story, and I hope that it gets out and is given some serious consideration, as the book From Here to Hell and Back is the title of my life story. And out of the suffering All right, when you're ready, let me know.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a movie called Dead Poets Society, Robin Williams, one of my favorites, because that's the kind of teacher I was. And a saying he had in there, Carpe diem, seize the day, gentlemen, seize the day. America must seize the day. You know, they say it's better to light one candle than curse the darkness. Well, we've had the darkness of the virus. I've had the darkness of what happened to my father. But we're lighting, and I'm trying to light that one candle by way of my book, From Here to Hell and Back. And I hope that the rest of the nation will grasp the vision of what I'm saying and go work shoulder to shoulder with me and with other good men and women. Men and women working together to build a greater United States, greater than ever before, based on enlightened capitalism and strong marriages, strong families, strong fathers, strong men, strong women. Throw away the yoke of feminism and political correctness. Emerge from the darkness into the light. Morality above money must be our
5
theme
seconds.
for the future, so that this country will last for 1,000 years.
God bless
And
America.
Is that it?
Yep. God bless America. Thank you, George.